Commissioners Court of Brazos County will meet regular session on August the 13th, 2024, 10 a.m. in the Commissioners Court Room, County Administration Building, 200 South Texas Avenue, Suite 106. First item on the agenda is the invocation pledge of allegiance to the U.S. and Texas flag. Commissioner Berry will lead those.
God, thank you for this day, and thank you for the many abundant blessings you bestow upon us. Thank you all for our men and women who serve our country here and abroad. May they always know peace. Thank you for the opportunity to do meaningful work on behalf of the citizens of Brazos County. Bless our work so that it is pleasing to you. I ask all this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Commissioner. Second item on the agenda is call for citizens' input and our concerns, and we've got one, Kathy D.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I'm here this morning to address the subject of the county voter registration rolls and the recent controversy over challenges filed and rejected by the Election Administration Office. The controversy stems from the use of the National Change of Address database produced and maintained by the United States Postal Service. The NCOA database provides records of voter requests for permanent address changes. Voters registered here but who no longer live in the county and are no longer eligible to vote here. Those were the majority of the challenges we filed. It is the ministerial duty of the election administrator to perform list maintenance, including the removal of ineligible voters. The excuse that the NCOA database does not meet the definition of personal knowledge is misdirection. Please refer to the document provided to you, tabbed EA 2024-18, and the referenced document tab July 12. So I ask you, why the blatant opposition and struggle against fellow citizens who want to help remove names from the voter rolls of people who no longer live in our county? Why would anyone want to keep them as active registered voters? The volunteers whose challenges were rejected were vetted for proof of residency in Brazos County and used a combination of the county voter roll and the United States Postal Service National Change of Address list of permanent address changes. So I'm here asking you to act on the behalf of the county residents. To not act is to act.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now consider and take action on agenda items 3 through 17. Number 3 is approval of the following appointments and reappointments to the Brazos County Public Defender's Office Oversight Board. Term of appointment is as follows.
Move
Go ahead.
appointment A through D.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries. Number 4 is reappointment of Mark Humphrey to the Twin City Endowment, Inc. Board of Directors, term of appointment through December the 31st, 2025.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries. Number 5 is approval of the order November the 5th, 2024 general and special election.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries. Number 6 is approval of the following job description.
Move approval A.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries. Number 7 is approval of service fees for the offices of sheriff and constable effective January 1st, 2025.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 8 is approval requested from Risk Management for the payment to Lloyd Wasserman in the amount of $1,221.94 for extraction of water from tank on Wasserman property. The water was extracted in order to continue road construction on Blue Ridge Drive.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 9 is approval of following modifications to the allocations of American Rescue Plan Act funds. This will bring the total amount allocated to the Medical Examiner's Office project from the American Rescue Plan Act grant funds to $20,884,931.
Move approval A and B.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Did we have somebody who wanted to speak on that?
I beg your pardon?
Did we have somebody who wanted to speak on that?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, I
This
think we
one.
did, yes.
Yeah.
Kathy, I think you wanted to speak on that.
Yes, I have a question about the $1 million that had been allocated apparently for broadband use. Can you tell me why that's being removed from broadband? Have we given up on that? And what area of the county was allocated for that $1 million of broadband?
So what we found when we investigated broadband was that you cannot overlap the ARPA funds with other federal funds that are coming in. And most of the area in Brazos County is covered by other funds. And so you cannot do it. We could not, and part of it is that you also got to have a private company that would go in and lay lines to get that broadband out there. There just was not a feasible way to use that money for broadband in Brazos County. So, and if we don't use it for an appropriate expense, we'll lose it. It'll have to go back.
So when we applied for the $1 million from ARPA to use to broadband, we didn't know that we couldn't apply for it?
We didn't apply for the ARPA funds for broadband. The federal government told us, here's the
I
amount of
see.
money that you're going to get, and it was $44 million. And then they didn't even have the rules written at the time. We didn't know what we could spend it for, and that's why it's taken so long to get anything done, because for a long time there, we were looking for rules to see what we could spend it on, so we wouldn't spend it wrong and then have to pay them back.
Okay.
And broadband was one of the things that you could spend it on, but as we investigated it, we found that you couldn't overspend, you couldn't spend ARPA money, which is federal money, in other areas that already federal money was being spent for broadband. And that's really what we kind of ran into.
Okay.
Thank you.
Judge, just to add what you said and to flesh that out a bit, there's actually now broadband funds from the feds made available to the state. There's a broadband commission, and they look at all of the requests for broadband funds all over the state of Texas, and it's an entirely separate source of funds that should hopefully fund some projects.
Right.
And the best thing about it is that's for local broadband providers actually apply directly and work with the broadband commission to get funds to expand internet inside the counties.
The other good thing that came from these discussions was figuring out exactly where signal strengths are, where they overlap, and where we're lacking the most. Instead of just one person raising their hand saying, I don't have coverage, being able to actually map it all out. That was one good thing that came from that discussion, so that now, hopefully with the funds Bruce mentioned, our local providers can go in there and fill gaps if we're so fortunate as to get those funds.
And then the other point that the judge brought up is the finding vendors that will go into some of those less dense areas, vendors that can access the money. And so in several committees that I've been on, it has been a matter of finding vendors that are willing to go in there, because you got, some areas where you may have 10 people and they're spread out over 10 miles, and it's difficult to lay lay the lines for such a small area that's not so very dense, and it's very costly. So it's a real struggle to try to use any kind of funding in a way that gives them the best response, but they are trying as best they can. Those 10 people deserve to be able to have access to good Wi-Fi, great broadband access, but it is very costly and it is difficult because not all companies want to go out to, and just lay cables for 10 people.
I think what we found in the process of doing the assessment was appropriate expense. We didn't run into any conflicts, and I think that's the best service that we were able to provide for the community, where we have an assessment and recommendations, but that was to get everybody who participates up to speed and give them the opportunity to do that. That was allowable from the restrictions on ARPA funding, and I think that we at least did the appropriate thing and did the assessment of what the needs are in Brazos County, because there was a whole lot of data that was way out of date and not accurate, and I think that that was a significant improvement that we gave the community to participate. One of the things that we wanted to be sure we didn't do is get engaged in picking winners and losers in the types of arrangements that we had with private vendors, and I think this I think we accomplished the goal of the assessment and being able to get the needs out to people and what those were and identify them, but it is now a process of private industry to be able to work with the state of Texas to assess those funds for the improvement of service, which obviously we need.
Okay. Any further discussion?
I was going to say, one of the vendors locally, again, I think private industry solves things so much better than government every time, but this vendor ran wire to a neighborhood, and these people live on 10 to 50 acre plots, and what they did was they ran wire to the center of the neighborhood and put up a tower. And now these people all agreed to pay for it, but as a result, now they all have internet. This is a very rural neighborhood with no chance of having internet, and they all have broadband now. But you know, it's a signal going up to a tower that's strong enough to hit everyone in that area, and they all paid for the tower together with that provider. So there's some out-of-the-box ways of solving this too that I'm encouraged to see happening, and I sure encourage that particular vendor to copy and paste that all over the county.
All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I think we already voted on this.
I
Yeah,
thought
we
so.
did. Yeah.
Did we vote?
Yeah, we
already
voted
voted.
before comment. Yeah.
Voted
Got a
twice.
little backwards. We did.
Little repetition.
Really voted now.
All right. Number 10 is approval of amendment number 1 for renewal of contract 24-116R third-party guardianship services for Brazos County with Mears Seniors Care Management, Inc., to increase the contract amount for additional care needed.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 11 is award of IQ number 25-004 grease trap pumping with Liquid Environment Solutions.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 12 is approval of amendment number 1 to renewal for bid 25-009R fire extinguishers, sprinkler systems inspections, maintenance and testing with Brigade Fire Solutions. Pricing for reporting fee of the City of Bryan increased from $15 to $17 per report.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 13 is consider and take action on Frontier Communications utility permit to bore and relocate fiber cable at the intersection of Harpers Ferry and Nantucket Drive to accommodate the improvements the county will be making on this section of roadway. Sites located in Precinct 1.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 14 is tax refund application for the following.
Move approval A.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 15 is budget amendments. Budget amendments FY 23-24 budget amendments 43.01 to 43.06.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Kathy, I think you want to speak on that.
Okay. I pulled up the hyperlink for this budget item, and I have a copy of the budget for this year. And so I looked it up in the book of the budget, and it has professional services for this year budgeted for 1.2 million, which last year it was 306,000, so it's more than 4 times as much as it was last year. So my question is this $50,000 taken from the contingency fund, put into the facilities administration, is that in addition to the 1.2 million that's already in the budget, or is it part of what's in that budget?
Let me let our budget officer speak to that.
I need to reference which budget amendment she's referring to. There are 6 of them. Okay, so this is going to be for facility services, is additional to facility services, not as a whole budget. It's not increasing the budget overall.
So is it included in this number here?
No, it's included in contingency. We're moving it from contingency within the general fund
Can't
to
hear you.
facility. Oh, we're moving it from contingency, that is in the general fund, to facility services, that is in the general fund.
So it wasn't budgeted for?
It was not budgeted for facility services, no.
But it
But
doesn't
it's
change,
budgeted.
but it doesn't change the budget.
No.
Correct.
Well, because it's in a contingency fund, but 1.2 million is not enough to cover this. It's 4 times as much as last year, and it's not enough to cover a $50,000.
This department has expensed pretty much all his funds regarding professional services, and so this is to help carry over for the remainder of the year.
It's extravagant.
Any questions from the court?
No.
Thank you.
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carried. Number 16 is personnel change status.
Move approval.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 17 is payment of claims. Claims to be paid by Brazos County. Claim number 820-4366 through claim number 820-4499 and claim number 920-1915 through claim number 920-1992.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, and I think Kathy, you want to speak on that too?
Sorry. So I notice every week when I come in, there's a category payment of claims. I've never asked about it, but I was curious and was told to contact the Treasurer's Department that was able to provide that information. But I'm asking that this information be made available to the public. If it's on the agenda, that it would be a hyperlink that we could see what's on those payment of claims. This week, I don't know what the previous weeks were, but this week it's over $1 million, $1.6 million. That seems like a lot of money. I'm not really sure if claims is the correct term, or is this payment of bills? It's just unclear to me, and I wish we had more public access to this detail.
So she's right. We're working on this. She brought it to the treasurer's attention Friday. He provided her with documents immediately. The problem is the statutory way to answer is file an open records request and wait 10 days, but that's not a satisfactory answer for the county or for the citizens. So we are working on addressing that so that that information would be available. And it is accounts. It's all the bills that the county pays through county accounts to vendors and court fees, and it's, like I said, she got it for today, but she's right that it ought to be available without people having to ask for it every week. So we're working on that.
Okay.
It's a reasonable change, yeah.
Thank you. We haven't voted on that yet, have we?
No.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carried. 18 is the acknowledgement of the FY 23-24 budget to actuals by fund as of August 7th, 2024, and an acknowledgement of the FY 23-24 contingency budget to actuals by fund as of August 7th, 2024. 19 is Juvenile Director's Report on Detention Population. Linda.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. We have 23 juveniles in detention, 16 males, 7 females, and 25 on electronic monitor. And I have not seen our population this low, and I can't remember when.
Wow.
So we're bracing for what's going to happen.
Thank you, Linda. Number 20 is Sheriff's Report on Inmate Population. Chief.
And I said it must be nice when I was coming up here.
There we go. There we go.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Is this what Linda was warning us about?
Oh, I don't. Well, we're holding steady, but it's more than I would like.
I got you.
Our current population this morning is 823. That's 699 males, 124 females, and we have 34 on electronic monitor.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. 21 is announcement of interest items and possible future agenda topics.
Judge, I just wanted to make sure everybody could take a moment and pray for all those that protect us and all of their families at home. Today's the 12-year anniversary since Constable Brian Bachman was taken from us, performing his duties as a constable in Brazos County. I also wanted to point out that our sheriff thought he could get away with not getting this called out, but he's wrong. The 146th Annual Conference of the Sheriff's Association of Texas met. During that conference, Sheriff Dickey was elected as a board member, so he'll actually be representing Brazos County all over the state of Texas now. And I just wanted to congratulate him for that. Also, the Brazos Valley 4-H Award Banquet was Sunday. So several of us were there. My biggest complaint and my biggest complaint is it's 3 hours long. But my compliment is it takes that long to call out all the accomplishments of the men and women in Brazos County. These young men and women are future leaders. Boy, if you ever want to restore your hope in the future, attend one of these award banquets, or better yet, volunteer and help with 4-H. But gosh, what a great collection of people. The accomplishments being called out for awards, the scholarship money that they have for school going forward. It's always a great event. I just wanted to congratulate everyone involved.
It was great. I've heard, it's been a privilege for us to sponsor 2 of the awards, for Lisa and I to have done so for, I guess 2 of the awards now for 2 years, and for 6 years prior to that, we sponsor the award for community service now, which Commissioner Cawley used to do. But we picked that one up, and then the other one we've always done is public speaking. And when you see these young people, I guess the beauty of it is it's one of those meetings like I talked about when we were talking about Boys and Girls Club's annual banquet. It's the kids running the show, and you see their capabilities, and you see their how the young children look to the older participants in 4-H, and that dynamic, because if I'm talking or somebody else, it's an adults talking, it's a whole different deal. It's the same thing as in Boy Scouts, as the boy-led troop. The 11-year-olds can look to the 16 to 18-year-olds and say, hey, I want to be like that. But if they look at the parents, they go like, I'm not interested. They just can't bridge that gap. So I love the dynamic of how that works. Heard from a lot of people that this was the largest attendance that they remember seeing. I wish they'd bring the silent auction back, though, because I picked up some really good 4-H swag over the period of years. But Commissioner, it's great to see you there. Judge, it was great to see you there. Commissioner Watson, Commissioner Berry. We always, I think providing leadership training experiences, because it's not just a program for these young people, is a real important thing that we do as a county. So thank y'all.
Excellent organization that really does prepare our young people to leadership positions in the community, and just a fabulous organization.
And I was amazed at how young some of the how small and how young some of the kids were. And I thought, oh my gosh, they're starting them younger. I don't know, I've not participated, but they were so young, and yet there they stood, and they're training, as they said, the future leaders of tomorrow. It is amazing. It was amazing to be there and to watch those kids perform, and how well spoken they were, how well they could project their voice when they were speaking into the mic. And so I was very pleased, very excited, and just proud to be a part of that event on a Sunday afternoon. And he's right, it was long, but it was so worth it as you watched each one of those young people being recognized for their accomplishments. And I could tell via the organization that they will continue to grow. And it's like the young lady who was the president, she was phenomenal. But she had apparently been in it through many years, and she just performed so beautifully. So I'm so proud to see those young people do that, and the diversity of the group.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, next item is to adjourn. Thank y'all.